Hello everyone. So in this video, we are going to cover Vision IAS Monthly Magazine of October 2025. The objective is to simplify the entire magazine so that you can read the entire magazine in limited time. Please understand one thing, it is not the official YouTube channel of Vision IAS. If you want to download their actual magazine, you can visit the official website of Vision IAS. However, for this PDF, you just need to check the link given in the description box or in the pinned comment. So basically what I have tried to do, I have gone through the entire magazine and I have tried to filter out the most important point. Okay, now let's start with the polity section. Okay, now first thing first, it is October edition, October 2025. In polity section, the first news is related to prison reforms. Understand three important things. The prison and related issues, that is part of state list. Recently, it was in news because NCRB, that is National Crime Record Bureau, it has released data related to prisoners. Okay, two important things. It is a topic of state list. That means state government is empowered to legislate on these matters. NCRB is under MHA and it was set up on the recommendation of Tandon Committee. Now, as far as prisons are concerned, three important things are there. See, our prisons are overcrowded. Overcrowded basically means capacity is, let's say, of 100 people, but there are 120, 140 people are there. That is basic meaning of overcrowding. Why there is overcrowding? The reason is simple. Our judicial system is slow. That's why there are a lot of under trials. Under trials are those people who are into judicial custody, who are not convicted as of now. That simply means their crime has not been affirmed as of now. They are still undergoing the trial, and that's why they are referred as under trials. Now, in this case, just remember two important cases. One is Husnaira Khatun versus State of Bihar. This basically specified that there is a right to speedy trial. However, the problem is that still it takes years and years for the resolution of these disputes, and that's why there are a lot of under trials. So just remember the keyword is speedy trial. One more thing, when you are revising, just revise the yellow highlighted parts so that you can revise the entire magazine in roughly 1 hour. That's why I'm highlighting, so that you can go through the same document and revise while playing the video at the speed of 2 or maybe more than that. Okay, second is Suhas Chakma case versus Union of India. So this is a case of 2024. In this case, basically there was a proposal of open prison. Open prison basically means, try to understand it this way. Let's consider one home. Okay, in home, I'm giving you example in the context of prison. In home, there are different rooms. Prisoners will be closed into those rooms. In case of open prison, there will be outer boundary only. Internally, there won't be cells, small cells. So that is the objective of open prison. See, understand the concept of prison is that we have to reform these peoples. That is the basic objective. So this way, the reformation process can be conducted more effectively, and that's why there was a proposal. Okay, now for prisons, just remember this initiative, faster initiative. The name itself is self-explanatory. What is faster? Fast and secured transmission of electronic records. In a very simple sense, let's say some court has issued some bail order. Now those papers will go from court to jail. Sometimes this may take time, so that's why what is being done, this entire process is being done electronically. That simply means computerized. For this purpose, we have a faster system. So in a simple way, this will be used for the communication of the bail order from the court to the prison authorities. Okay, now in this context, three important committees are mentioned. One is A.N. Mullah committee. So this committee basically recommended a dedicated service, just like we have all India services. For police, IPS is there. For administration, we have IAS. Similarly, this also recommended all India service, which is referred as Indian Prison and Correctional Service. And it also recommended that those who are under trials, they should be separated from the convicted. Convicted basically means they are punished. Let's say they are hardcore criminals. Let's say someone is convicted of murder or other serious issues. When we are keeping under trials with them, the chances of these under trials being turned into a hardcore criminal are quite high. So that's why this committee said we should keep under trials separate from those who are convicted. That simply means frame a boundary so that they are not able to interact with each other. Why? Because our objective is reformation. But if they will interact with the convicted people, chances of them being turned into hardcore criminal are quite high. So these are two important suggestions. keep under trials away from the convicts. Apart from that, there is Amitav Roy committee that recommended fast track courts. That's one thing, and exclusive women's prison. So these are two important recommendations. Now, why prison reforms are necessary? Understand, we have already discussed that more than 50% of the under trials, more than 50% of the prisoners are under trials. That simply means their guilt has not been proven as of now. Still, they are in jails. So that's why we need to have these kind of reforms in the system. Just a second, please. Hmm. Okay, so roughly 73% of the jail inmates are under trials. Their crime is not proved as of now, and that's why there is a overcrowding also. Overcrowding basically means more than capacity. Apart from that, there are vacancies of staff. The staff is not well trained, and we don't have adequate women facilities. So these are some of the issues. Okay, next is next topic is related to crime in India report. So basically, this is a report by NCRB. Now, what is NCRB? National Crime Record Bureau. We have already covered. It was set up on the recommendation of Tandon Committee. It is under Ministry of Home Affairs. Usually, it releases a report that what is the statistics of crime in our country. So there are a lot of crimes mentioned in this report. I'm just giving you few important trends which you can use in your mains answer. In prelims, there is a very little chance that they are going to ask a statement from this, but in mains you can specify. For example, because of digitization, what has happened is that cybercrime has increased by 31.2%. Even if you are not able to remember the exact number, just understand that cybercrimes are increasing very fast. Why so? Because of adoption of digital technology plus lack of digital awareness. So that's why cyber crimes are increasing. Apart from that, the cases against scheduled tribes, they have increased by roughly 28%. Cases against children has increased by roughly 9%, and cases against women has increased roughly by 0.7%. This is in comparison to previous year. So even if you are not able to remember the exact number, just understand cyber crimes and crime against a scheduled tribe, they have increased by roughly 30%. What does that show? It shows that the crime against the vulnerable section, they are increasing. Similarly, crime against children are also increasing. For example, 10% increment is there. So this is how you can use this data, that how we need to strengthen our judicial system, police system, so that we can address these issues. Next is also related to NCRB report. So NCRB report on accidental death and suicides. Now again, there is a very little possibility that question in prelims will be there from this aspect, but from mains point of view, you need to understand two, three things. A, the suicides has increased, and states like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Madhya Pradesh have highest number of suicides. The male-female ratio is roughly 72-27. Again, very high disproportionate amount of males commit suicide in comparison to female. Again, the issue itself is societal issue. We have to look into that. Now, roughly 6.3%. Again, even if you don't remember the exact number, roughly 6% of the suicide cases are related to farmer suicide. You can connect this to the agrarian stress, that because of declining productivity in agriculture, because of rising debt, the farmers are committing suicide. So what government need to do? Government need to formulate the proper policies. Apart from that, there are various initiative for mental health. For example, Manas is there, Telemanas is there. What is the concept of Telemanas? In a very simple sense, you are going to call someone and they will provide you the psychological support. Similarly, we can see that there are a lot of suicides related to children, because of the rising competition and because of the rising expectation of parents. So what is your responsibility as a part of society? We have to make sure that we talk to those people. uh, we should talk to our siblings, our friends, our colleagues, everyone. See, suicide is not a individual issue, it is a issue of society. As a society, we create circumstances. This is important concept of sociology also. Okay. Okay, now what are the initiatives taken by the government to prevent suicide? So, two important initiatives which you can quote in your mains answer. One is Telemanas, and second is Mano Darpan. Okay, next is related to IT rules 2025. Now, understand, there is one term in these rules. Actually, these are amendment of 2021 rules. 2021 rules were the base. Now in 2025, these rules were amended to address the problem of SGI. What is SGI? Synthetically generated information. In a very simple sense, this information is not actual information. It has been generated synthetically. That simply means it appears that it is correct information, but it is not. A more simple term for that is usually the term deep fake. What is deep fake? It simply means the content is fake, but it appears that it is genuine. Let me explain it again. The content is fake, but it appears as if it is genuine. So with the help of AI, a lot of deep fake content is being generated. To address this problem, the government has amended these IT rules. And these new rules will be effective from November 2025. In this context, three important terms are there. One is SGI. SGI, as the name suggests, synthetically generated information. This information has been generated artificially. It is not genuine. It appears genuine. Okay. In this context, just remember this term deepfake also we have already covered. Now these were the original base guidelines, IT rules of 2021. Now in this context, two terms are there which are important for understanding this entire issue. One is social media intermediary. Let me explain with the help of one simple example. Let's say you have posted a reel on Instagram. So you are the content creator or poster. I am watching that reel. So we are able to interact with the help of some platform. In this case, Instagram is that platform. So that is social media intermediary. The intermediary is facilitating the communication between two parties. On one side, you are there, content creator. On another side, I am there, content consumer. Okay. So in this case, the communication between the content creator and content consumer is possible with the help of social media intermediary. But certain platforms are quite significant, quite big. They are referred as significant social media intermediaries. These are very common social media platforms. These are big social media platforms. For example, Instagram is there, WhatsApp is there, Twitter is there, and so on. Okay, that is the major difference you need to understand. So what is SMI or social media intermediaries or SSMI? They enable the interaction between the two or more users. So you are content creator, a lot of people are going to watch your reel or YouTube short. So in that case, YouTube is the facilitator. Getting my point? So that is the social media intermediary. These guidelines are saying that it is the responsibility of the social media intermediaries to label the content as synthetically generated if it is generated so. Let me simplify. You posted a reel. That reel has some AI generated content. It is the responsibility of that platform. Let's say you are posting that reel on YouTube. So it is the responsibility of YouTube to label that content as AI generated. Okay, how much labeling should be done? So basically, as per the guidelines, roughly 10% of the surface area should show that it is AI generated. If it is a visual content, 10% of the area should show that it is artificially generated. If it is audio content, the first 10% of that audio should specify explicitly that it is synthetically generated. That is the responsibility of these intermediaries. What will happen if they do not follow these guidelines? We understand there is a concept of safe harbor. In a very simple sense, whenever any content is posted on social media platforms, even if it is offensive, social media platforms are not responsible for it. It is the content creator who is responsible. Social media platforms are just intermediaries. They have the immunity. This provision is basically referred as safe harbor. But if government provide certain guidelines to these social media platforms, and if they fail to comply to those guidelines, in that case, they will lose this immunity. So just remember the concept of safe harbor. Safe harbor basically means social media platforms are immune. They are not liable for the content which is posted on them. But if government say, okay, follow these guidelines, or government say remove this content, and if they fail to do so, then this safe harbor provision or safe harbor protection, this will go away. That simply means their immunity will go away. That is the concept. Okay. So the government has specified the new amendment. As per that, it is the responsibility of the social media platforms to define or basically label these synthetically generated information. So they need to label. Okay, now if it is visual content, the content should have at least 10% of area. Let me simplify. Let's say there is a reel. On this reel, on this much part, it should be explicitly visible that it is AI generated. Let's say this is your entire screen. So on this part, it should be explicitly visible that it is AI generated, so that user can get to know that this is something which has been generated artificially, not some genuine content. Similarly, if it is audio one, so it need to explicitly mention that it is artificially generated content. Similarly, in case of audio, initial 10% should show. Okay. Now, if they fail to do so, then they are liable. So that is the concept which is specified in these recent guidelines. So if they fail to comply, the platforms may lose the legal immunity. What is the name of this legal immunity? Basically, this is referred as safe harbor protection. Okay, we have covered it in previous months as well. So just understand this concept. Apart from that, there is a concept of watermarking. See, just like on page, whenever a page is printed, there is a concept of watermark. For example, if you see any coaching magazine, so they usually put their watermark. Similarly, on the content also, there must be a watermark so that we can trace the person who has created this content. In a very simple sense, a unique identity should be generated for each content so that we can trace the user. See, with the help of AI, new content can be generated, but over a period of time, this is going to create more problems. That's why the government is saying it is the responsibility of social media platforms to label this content and to provide a unique identity to this content so that if we want to trace the uploader or creator, we can trace with the help of this unique identity. That is the crux of these recent guidelines. In case of China, there is a mandatory AI labeling rule. That simply means if you are posting any AI related content, you will be given a unique identity so that social media platforms can trace you. As simple as that. Okay. Next is related to regulation of India's pharma sector. Now, there was a controversy related to cough syrup. Now, the problem is that in our country, the rules and regulations are not followed strictly, they are not implemented strictly. As far as pharma products are concerned, two important things are there. One is this legislation, Drugs and Cosmetic Act of 1940, and subsequently there are drugs and cosmetic rules. So this is the legal provision for pharma sector. Apart from that, there is a body. The body is CDSCO, that is Central Drug Standards Control Organization. This is under MHA. So this is the legislation. This is the body responsible for implementation of these provisions. What was the controversy recently? So ethylene glycol was available in the cough syrup. Ideally, it is used in industries and it is not safe for consumption. And why it was used in cough syrup? Because it is a cheaper alternative. So that itself shows that yes, the rules and regulations were not followed, and that is why there was death of a lot of people. Now understand, one issue is that it is a health concern. A lot of people lost their life. Another issue is that at global level, it is going to have a bad impact on India's image. Why I am saying so? India is considered as a pharmacy of the world. We export a lot of pharma products. Now, if we are not following rules and regulations clearly, that simply means there will be trust deficit. And therefore, what will happen? The countries may not be interested to purchase our products. In long term, it will have adverse impact on our brand image of Indian based pharma products. That's why it is necessary that government should take steps not only to save our lives, of course, that's prime factor. Apart from that, from economic angle also, this is going to have long term adverse consequences. So you need to remember this dimension. Okay, now first thing first, as I have mentioned, this was the name of the toxic substance which was found. Now how UPSC is going to frame question from this? See, very simple question can be framed in this way, that ethylene glycol is a common substance used in the pharma products. Now if you are not aware of this controversy, you may think that okay, it may be used in the pharma sector, but the entire controversy was around this chemical. Therefore you should know that it is not used in pharma sector. Okay. Apart from that, there is a lack of mandatory recall law. Let me explain it with the help of one example. Let's say a cough syrup batch has been generated. Let's say 100 bottles were or 1000 bottles were produced. They are in market now, and there is some issue with that cough syrup. In a country like India, we don't have a recall legislation. What does that mean? If some product is defective, it should be responsibility of manufacturer to recall those product. That simply means to take those product back. We don't have any legislation like that. This itself shows that there is a huge legislation gap, and that's why these rules and regulations are not implemented strictly. So these are some of the issue related to this pharma sector. Next is related to tribal governance. So recently it was in news because in tribal dominated villages, various initiatives were taken. Now understand, for the tribal welfare, there is Adi Karamyogi Abhiyan. As a part of this initiative, basically, tribal communities or tribal villages have adopted the Vision 2030 declaration. In a very simple sense, the objective is to ensure the holistic development of tribal areas. Now, what is this Adi Karam Yogi Abhiyan? In a very simple sense, our objective is to develop a decentralized tribal leadership. In a very simple sense, we have to select people from the tribal areas. We have to train them so that they can lead those areas and they can provide better governance in those areas. That is the objective of Adi Karam Yogi initiative. In a very simple sense, train the leadership for the tribal governance. Okay, so that was this. Next is related to promotion and regulation of online games. See, last month we have discussed that government had introduced a new legislation to impose a ban on various category of online games. Now the rules has been notified. So two important things are there in this case. Number one is the online games are categorized into three categories. One is e-sport. E-sport basically means a general sport is there, then there is a e version. E version simply means online version. For example, you play cricket, so there is a online version, that is e sport. Okay, second is online social game, and third is online money game. Now understand, not all type of online games has been banned. The first two categories, they can operate, but the online money games, that is OMG, easy way to remember, OMG, this has been banned. OMG, online money games, this has been banned. So for this entire process, that means how we are going to regulate which is banned, which is not, we have a specific body, and the name of the body is, just a second, it is OGAI. What is OGAI? Online Gaming Authority of India. So this is going to regulate the online games, and this is going to maintain the database of those uh, online games which are allowed, and it is going to take action against those which are not allowed. Which one is not allowed? Just remember, OMG is not allowed. What is OMG? Online money games. Why it is not allowed? Again, it had a lot of adverse impact. It had addiction like issues, and it was kind of gambling. That's why government took this action. Okay, and last news in the polity section is related to postal ballot. First, understand two three terms. Postal ballot basically means you as a voter will receive a ballot paper online. Okay, you got the ballot paper, you are going to fill the choices. Let's say a ballot paper is having four choices, A, B, C, D. Four candidates are there. You selected candidate number B or candidate number C. Okay, now you are going to send it back to the election authorities. This is postal ballot. Now you have voted through this postal system, other people have voted through EVM. How this voting will be counted? For that purpose, recently election commission has issued guidelines that first the counting of postal ballot should be done, and then the EVM vote should be counted. First postal ballot counting should be done, then EVM voting. Now understand, this is one guideline, that's why it was in news. Second thing is that who are eligible for these postal ballot. Number one is service voter. Service voter basically means, let's say army personnel are there, they are posted in different areas, so they cannot come to vote. So for them postal ballot is allowed, and their spouses also. Okay, that's one thing. Second category is special voters. For example, president is there, so in this case special voters are allowed to vote or cast their vote through postal ballot. Third category is a special category, or basically the people who are absentee voters, Now, what is the meaning of this term absentee voters? Basically, senior citizens who are above 85 or person with disabilities or differentially abled people. So, three type of people: service voters, for example, army personnel; special voters, for example, president; absentee voters, for example, senior citizens with the age of more than 85 or person who are differentially abled. Okay. Now, if voting will be done, first postal votes will be counted, and then remaining votes which are casted through EVM, they will be counted. So that is the crux of this entire issue. And with this, we have covered the polity section. Now